Hey everybody, and welcome to Energy Gal Meditations. Today we are talking about empowerment. Empowerment, being sovereign, being your own empowered being, not relying on all the people around you or all the situations around you to be at peace so that you can finally be at peace. No, what we're talking about is being at peace despite anything that's going on around you. That's the most empowered way to be, to say, it doesn't matter what's going on around me, I still stand strong. Now, what is preventing you from being in that space? That's what we're talking about today. So there are two different camps that I see many people hanging out in. One of them is, I know where I am and I know where I want to get to, I just don't know the steps. The other one is, I don't even know where I am, and I don't even know where I want to get to. Okay, so we've got those two different things going, and I'm going to tell you, they both need the same thing to happen. And if you want to know what that thing is, hang with me because today we're going to talk about it. My name is Lisa, and I'm an empowerment coach. I do a lot of sound therapy and guided meditations because I think that's the way to our sovereignty. That's the way to our empowerment. That's the way to a peace that surpasses understanding. A peace that says, I'm good, regardless of the situations going on out there. Because it all begins within us. All right, so I want to get right to what we're talking about today. I want to read you a short poem that I came across, oh my God, 15, 20 years ago, and it so spoke to me that I refer to it again and again and again. And it is the crux, it is the cornerstone of what it is that the first step is for this person who says, well, I know where I am and I know where I want to get to, but I don't know the first step, second, third. This is the first step. This is also the first step for someone who's like, I don't really know where I am and I don't really know where I want to get to. I am freaking lost. I've looked out there. I don't even know. Either I have no idea or I've got so many ideas I don't even know where to start. This is the first step, this particular poem. I'm going to read it to you and then we'll unpack it very shortly. Okay, it's called An Autobiography in 5 Short Chapters by Portia Nelson, and she quotes it. There's a hole in my sidewalk. Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I am in this same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit, but my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. Just breathe in that transmission. Amazing. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. At the very end, I am not lost. I am not helpless. I have clear vision. I can see more clearly. And it all came to, it isn't my fault. It isn't my fault. It isn't my fault. There was no ownership. Now, this is a tough one because people want to say, well, hold on. So my abusive childhood was my fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your doing. But because you are now an adult, it is your responsibility for the healing. It's not somebody else's responsibility to heal you. Things may not be your fault, but you can stay forever in a place of trying to figure out whose fault it is and never actually heal. You can stay forever on this lily pad saying, I know I want to get to there, or I don't even know where I am. I don't even know where I want to get to. You can stay forever doing that, distracted by the pain in your mind, trying to figure things out, or being lost in the pain without actually ever having to own where you are right here, right now. You can, but it leaves you powerless. And I'm telling you, there is only one way out, and it is through saying, you know what? At some point, someone has to stand up and say, that shit happened. Now what do I do with it? It's not anybody else's responsibility to heal me. And the healing begins by looking within. Now, I'm not saying getting lost in your shadow work forever. That's not what I'm saying. That's a video for another day. But what I am saying is to take ownership. So let's get practical. What does that mean? That means if you are aware that you are having a thought pattern of self-loathing, and every time it comes up, it makes you be like, oh God, I can't stand this. I'm going to numb myself in some way. And maybe that's even more aware than you are at this point. It's to become aware here and now of exactly what's happening. So say you are aware, I'm over shopping, I'm overspending, I'm spending too much time on my phone, I'm overeating, I'm not getting up and exercising enough, I'm not socializing, I'm stuck in a pattern of feeling blue. At least become aware that that's what you're doing. I'm too needy. This is more than I want to be. Become aware of it to begin with. Don't try to fix it. It's not broken anyway, but don't try to fix. Just become aware. If you're eating a cookie, become aware that you're eating the cookie. Can you taste the sugar in it? Can you taste the flour? Can you taste the energies of the person who made it? If you are sitting on the couch, become aware of where your body meets your clothes, meets the couch. If you're sitting watching TV, become aware of the other sounds that are in the room. If you're scrolling on your phone, become aware of the feeling of your thumb or your finger on the phone. Become aware of your body, your physical body, and its relationship to the environment. Begin there. I had a client who I knew would not be averse to me sharing this, who's saying, I'm really struggling with a needy relationship with a particular person. I don't know why it's there. Why? And I said, listen, to begin with, don't worry about why. It doesn't matter anyway. You can get lost in the why. Become aware of when you start to be that way. Where do you feel it in your body? What color is it? What does it taste like in your mouth? Where do you feel this neediness in your physical body? What are your ears listening to? Bring yourself back into your body. Hug yourself. I'm feeling needy towards this person. Oh God, I love myself. I love myself. I need myself. Where am I in lack for needing and being in response to myself? that I'm being distracted or feeling I need this other person. Let me just love myself. Let me stay here in this moment and love me. This is where it begins, taking ownership of where the hole in the sidewalk is, seeing it, and not getting lost in, I'm in the sidewalk hole again. It's not fair. It's not my fault. At some point, you just have to say, you know, when I fell in the sidewalk all those other times, it wasn't my fault because I wasn't aware. But now I'm aware that I'm in a hole. At some point, I need to just take ownership and say, yep, I'm the one who fell in the hole. It's my responsibility now to take ownership for where I am in this very moment. It's a lot, but it's the start. It's coming out of victimhood mentality. It's coming out of lack. It's coming out of comparison. It's coming out of, this isn't my fault. It's coming out of entitlement. This shouldn't be this way. Okay, but it is. We need to work with what is. So I want to share with you the two most powerful words that you can use to bring yourself into the most powerful vibration ever. Two words. Can you guess what they are? What are the two most powerful words? Drum roll, please. I choose. I choose. Now, someone might say to me, well, I am definitely not choosing what's going on out there in the world. I'm hearing what you're saying. But what I am saying is, in your own little space, when things happen, if you precede it by, I choose, it will change the frequency of the things that are happening. I dare you to try it for a little while. This is so, there's so many things that I offer to people that are just offensive because we still come from a lack mentality, an entitlement mentality, a victimhood mentality that says, hold on, things should just be easy. I'm not saying that they need to be hard, but things should just be spoon-fed to me. I shouldn't have to do any work. It shouldn't be this way. Here's the situation. Whether you remember it or not, you chose to come in to this particular leg of the journey of the ascension process that's going on in the world. And it's messy and it's hard. But here we are. As long as it is what it is, take ownership of it then. And say, I choose. I'll do goofy things like, I'll say to my husband, well, we're in the middle of this Western New York cold snap. Like, oh my God, it's cold. -degrees. So much snow. And I'll joke with my husband and I'll say, well, clearly I chose this weather today. Because at some point, you know what I chose? I chose to stay here in Western New York rather than move down to Florida where my son is. I chose to stay here for today. In any way, shape, or form, any tiny little thing that you can start saying, I choose, I choose. I'll pick up my toothbrush. Well, I guess I'm choosing to brush my teeth now. I'm drinking a glass of water. I'm choosing to drink this glass of water. Start coming in to understanding the reworking of the recalibrating of the brain to saying, I'm choosing this, I'm choosing this, I'm choosing this. Why is that so important? I'm going to tell you why. It's because when you come to an understanding of what you are choosing, if you don't like it, guess what you can do? Not choose it. But if you've never come into the understanding that you are choosing, then how do you come into a place of saying, well, I don't choose that. I don't choose victimhood mentality. First, you have to understand that you've been choosing victimhood mentality. Then you can get to the point where you're going, oh, well, I definitely don't choose that. Do you see? It's starting in the little ways. I'm choosing to have a salad for lunch. I'm choosing to eat this cookie as a snack. I'm choosing not to exercise today. I'm not going to lay the excuse of, well, it's too cold out. Well, my left ankle hurts. Well, this one. No. Ultimately, let me choose this decision. I chose to wear this thin sweater today. I chose not to brush my hair this morning. Where can you start just taking ownership? In the littlest things. In the littlest things. It will make a difference. I dare ya. I don't know why I'm holding this book, but clearly I'm choosing to, so let me open it up and see. Okay, I've got a couple of things I've just read. The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley. And he says this: to be enlightened is to be aware, always, of total reality and its imminent otherness. To be aware of it and yet to remain in a condition to survive as an animal, to think and feel as a human being, to resort whenever expedient to systematic reasoning. Our goal is to discover that we have always been where we ought to be. And I think that this is where choosing comes in for me, because I find that so much of spirituality out there lately revolves around, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be experiencing this. I want to be someplace else. And until you've come into a place where you can say, I'm all in on where I am right here, right now, and it's not wrong, I'm not resisting it. Until you can do that, you can't get anyplace else. There has to be a coming into saying, I'm choosing this. This is the reality I'm choosing for this season. May not be what I'm choosing forever, but in this very moment, clearly this is what I'm choosing. Let me read the other thing that I have underlined here. But the man who comes back through the door in the wall will never be quite the same as the man who went out. He will be wiser, but less cocksure, happier, but less self-satisfied, humbler in acknowledging his ignorance, yet better equipped to understand the relationship of words to things, of systematic reasoning to the unfathomable mystery which it tries forever vainly to comprehend. Basically, he's talking about how he had this, I think it was probably some kind of mescaline or ayahuasca trip, and it changed him back in like 1950s or maybe even earlier than that, and it completely changed him. It opened up his reality. But when he came down from that, as he says, he realizes that the reality that he saw was always there. And it's a matter of seeing what's already there and then incorporating that into your everyday life. It's not trying to escape the reality that we have. What if that isn't what the journey is about? What if it isn't about trying to get away from an abusive childhood, or away from the people in your life, or to obtain more money? What if it's about the journey itself and just appreciating what is here right now and being a human being? What if part of spirituality is perfecting the messiness of being a human being? Anyway, thanks for hanging with me. Check out my website for all the things that I have to offer: one-on-one coaching and sound baths and guided meditations, everything that is the messiness of the spiritual journey. And it is messy. And if the faster and more comfortable we become with the idea that it is the journey, we're not trying to get somewhere. The journey itself is the where. The journey itself is exactly where we're supposed to be. We're not trying to get somewhere and then finally life will begin. Life is right here, right now, in the midst of the journey. So, all right, everybody, take care and have a wonderful week.